Welcome to Wyce Thoughts. You never know what's on his mind. Each virtual campfire sit-down promises fun, information, and so much more. Now, let's get ready to meet the man with a face built for radio. Here's Terry Wyce.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Wyce Thoughts. Short intro today, Mr. Producer Extraordinaire. Thank you for that. And welcome one and all to the virtual campfire sit-down that we lovingly call Wyce Thoughts. I hope all is well with you. How is everybody? Are you doing okay? Are you feeling all right out there? Are you feeling good about yourself? Oh, yeah, rewind. It's been a really, really weird week, hasn't it? It really has. Yeah. All right. I'm glad you're feeling good. Hey, do us a favor. If you like Wyce Thoughts, would you do us a favor? If it's on the YouTube channel, by the way, which is at Wyce Thoughts, if you look for that on YouTube or on your favorite podcast provider, just give it a click. Share us with your friends. Give us a review. We would certainly appreciate that. And what else? The website, purplepitstudios.com. You can go to purplepitstudios.com and see the cavalcade of shows there. Just look for Wyce Thoughts, and there you can listen to this episode, which you're listening to now, and so many more. It's all under the Wyce Thoughts portion of the website at purple, the color purple, P-I-T, studios.com. Okay, and you can even leave a review there if you want. There's a review section on the website. If you want to reach out to me, it's Wyce Thoughts at purplepitstudios.com. There we go. I'm feeling pretty good. I'm caffeine energized here today, and we're going to do something a little bit different on the program today. Lately, we've been doing a lot of political stuff, politics and stuff, and honestly, folks, let's just be perfectly honest. That shit can wear you right down right quick, especially in today's highly politically charged world, highly cultist, segregated world. And when I mean segregated, don't get yourself all in a tizzy and a tether out of it. What I mean is, people have their camps, their groups that they're in, and my group's better than yours. I'm better than you are. Blah 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 blah. Anyway, I got in my hot little hand here some folklore and fun facts and traditions from the Farmer's Almanac for this year, and I'm going to wax poetic with some information about this. Now, for those of you who do not know what the Farmer's Almanac is, it's basically something, the old Farmer's Almanac was started way back in 1792, all right? A bookseller, a teacher by the name of Robert B. Thomas, and an amateur astronomer living near Boston, Massachusetts, began the North American institution this North American institution known as the Farmer's Almanac, when he published his first issue of his Farmer's Almanac. Basically, they used it to help predict the weather and fun facts. It's kind of hard to really narrow down how you would classify it, but it's something that's been around since 1792. Okay, so I mean, what does that tell you? Well over 170 plus years. It's been around 150 plus years. And Farmer's Almanacs, it's basically had food recipes and things for your crops, predictions for the year and upcoming year. And people back in that day, folks, this was their go-to. This is what they went by. So since we got this handy, what we're going to do is, there's a topic in here called, Can Animals Predict the Weather? Centuries of observations suggest that they can. Centuries ago, farmers and others observed animal behavior and recognized patterns that corresponded to weather events. Their observations were passed throughout the generations as advice, which still survive today. And, in today's modern world, do they work? Well, you know what? Read, watch, and see for yourself, as they say. So, can cows forecast the weather? Many weather folk believe that cows can predict the weather. Now, if a cow stands with its tail to the west, the weather is said to be fair. If a cow grazes with its tail to the east, the weather is likely to turn sour. And if the bull leads the cows to pasture, expect rain. If the cows precede the bull, the weather will be uncertain. So that's kind of some things to watch for. Now, one other thing on that, too, with regards to cows, and I've seen that here where I live, because I live in a pretty rural area in the northeastern half of the United States, and there's some farms around us out here where I live. One thing I noticed about cows is they will lay down when it's going to rain. When rain is coming, imminent in the next, few hour or two, what they do is they'll go out to the pasture, and I've seen this myself firsthand. So you're getting it right from the Wyce's mouth, okay? They will go out to the pasture and they will actually lay, not lay down sideways, but they get down on all fours upright and hunker down as they were for the rain. I don't know if that's so when the rain hits them, it washes them all off or what have you, but I've seen that firsthand. So I know there is some truth in that. Now, what else do we got here? What other animals? Let's see. Other animal indicators. Experts expect rain when dogs eat grass, cats purr and wash, sheep turn into the wind, and oxen sniff the air, and swine are restless. So you can expect rain when that happens. I don't know. We have a cat. We have Mr. Benson, and he's always cleaning and washing himself, and I don't know. Well, it's been raining here the past 4 days, so I guess maybe there's some truth to that. When cats sneeze, it is a sign of rain. I don't know about that one. That one I don't know about. When cattle lie down in a pasture, it's an indication of early rain. See, I just said that, and here it is. So I'm not leading you astray with regards to that. When horses and cattle stretch out their necks and sniff the air, it will rain. Interesting. What else here? Let's see. If a mole digs its hole 2.5 feet deep, expect severe weather. If it is 2 feet deep, not so severe. If 1 foot, mild. Well, I'm not out there. I don't have any mole holes. I want to say that very carefully. I'm not out there measuring that, so I can't speak to the validity of that. When pigs gather leaves and straw in fall, expect a cold winter. Okay, that's a new one. So when pigs gather leaves and straw in the fall, expect a cold winter. Interesting. All right, what else we got here? Let's see. When rabbits are fat in October and November, expect a long, cold winter. Okay. Bats flying late in the evening indicates fair weather. And let's see. Wolves always howl more before a storm. Well, we don't have any wolves here that I'm aware of, so that's good to know. So there's just some little fun facts. I just wanted to give you that real quick from the Farmer's Almanac, and how animals may have their own built-in weather service, which is kind of interesting. What else is going on? Let's see. We've updated some equipment at the studio here at Purple Pit Studios, as I am in Studio 1A today. Got some more powerful things. Always spending more money. It's like, what do they call it? Not chasing the dragon, chasing your tail? I don't know. Gear or gas. Gear Acquisition Syndrome is an acronym for gas. Gear Acquisition Syndrome. You certainly have that for musical instruments. My wife can attest to that, Mrs. Wyce. She can attest to that because she gives me the frown whenever look what I got. I got something. It's a new guitar. It's a new pedal. It's a new cable. How many do you need? You get that out there if you play musical instruments. How much do you need? Well, it's the newest. It's the greatest. It's the most wonderful thing on the planet. You got to have it. I think I should resign myself to use what the hell I got, right? Time for a little sip of coffee here. I don't even have to get an iced coffee because that one's been sitting a while, and it's iced coffee, Mr. Producer. Where's the Mr. Coffee Maker when you need it? What else is going on today? Fall is upon us. Definitely is. The weather is changing. And how's the weather in your part of the country? Up here in the Northeast, half of the United States, the leaves are a-changing already. I'm predicting, and I have no special ins with the weather service or anything, but I'm predicting a early, long winter. That's what I'm predicting. A long, early winter. And I think that's going to be coming at us. What else? Working on some music. I know I've been saying that almost every other episode, working on some new music. And some of you have reached out to me. Thank you very much. Sent me an email, wycethoughts@purplepitstudios.com, and said, hey, when are you going to hit something new on Spotify and on iTunes? Your patience will soon be rewarded, my friends. We want to just throw something up there that is worth having the population of the planet take a listen to. We just don't want to throw something up there for the sake of throwing something up there that sounds like it was recorded on somebody's old cassette player. And for those of you listening who you don't know what a cassette player is, Google it. You'll find out how we struggled back in the the 70s and everything with cassette players and tape and things of that nature. There was, believe it or not, folks, there was life before digital. I know for some of you it's kind of hard to fathom, but there actually was life before the digital world came into to being. Isn't that amazing? Yeah. Oh, what else? Football season's underway. Hockey season started their preseason the other day here. Are you a big sports fan? I find myself watching some more football games now that they stopped the nonsense of the kneeling and the laying and the sprawling and the virtue signaling. Sports looks like it's getting back to sports and getting away from all this woke culture nonsense bullshit. You know my feelings on woke culture and all that, the misplaced activism. And now, some of you too, by the way, speaking of that, my feelings on misplaced activism, and the reason I use that term is certain radical groups hijacked true activism and what things that should be fought for and things that should be, strived for in this country. And the sad thing about it all is the simple fact of that, these organizations that hijacked it for their nefarious means, turned out to be shams, pilfering money, stealing money from people that donated to them. One I can think of in particular, Black Lives Matter. These people, this organization is just rotten to the core, in my humble opinion, folks. Stole money, misappropriation of funds, fraud, you name it, they probably have done it as far as bilking the people with good intentions. But the thing is, too, is Black Lives Matter, in my opinion, and again, this is just my opinion, you're welcome, definitely welcome to disagree, because that's what makes America great. I strongly feel that Black Lives Matter, it was founded on lies, many lies, without getting too political. But I just feel that the fraud that we have seen come out from the people that organize it, where did all those hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars that was donated to this organization go? Have you heard anything in the news? And I've said it before in past programs. You can look it up. Where did all this money go? Have you heard anything in the news? Black Lives Matter contributes, $10 million to, inner city school in Chicago, or Black Lives Matter, donates $1 million to a food bank. Haven't heard shit. Haven't heard nothing. Crickets, my friends, crickets from these folks. It's almost like, they're hiding, There we go. Hey, stop that, Mr. Producer. And that's why I say it's misplaced activism. This kneeling and all this stuff that, some out there believe that all police and law enforcement do is hunt down people of color and look to beat them and hurt them. I don't agree with that false narrative. To me, that's a false narrative, and that's my opinion on that. And the funny thing about all this is that, a lot of you all, unfortunately, had your heartstrings tugged at, and you parted with your hard-earned money to this organization, which is a fraud, and a lot of them are too. What else? Again, some of you have emailed me and said, "How dare you?" And some of you said, "Yeah, I agree with you." There's been comments on the Facebook page. There's been comments on a lot of other pages, the website, etc. And I get it. Okay, that you want to have your opinion and you want to help other people. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that, my friends. I get it. And the funny thing though about it is that those of us out here that see things day to day and are not in an insulated cultist bubble, try and disseminate and look at all this information and then make an informed decision. So I know we kind of strayed a little bit into the political side, but I can't help it. I mean, everything's political nowadays. You brush your teeth and it's, why you brush your teeth to the right? You're a right-wing extremist. Oh, you brush your teeth to the left? You're a left-wing extremist. Oh, no. But anyhow, how did we get off on that topic, Mr. Producer? I don't know. Oh, talking about football and hockey and that. Yeah, that they're actually, looks like this wokeism is finally getting out of sports. You know what? Leave sports. It's an escape for us here in the United States. It's meant to be an escape. I don't need virtue signaling in sports. I don't need virtue signaling. If I want virtue signaling, I'll go to a rally and, look up the news and all that stuff. But leave my sports alone. And thankfully, it looks like probably the No Fun League, better known as the NFL, is finally getting back to letting them play fucking football and get out of this virtual signaling horse shit that they've been going on for a couple of years. So thank goodness for that. And the NHL has started its preseason, which is good. I'm a big hockey fan. I'm mostly, 100% hockey fan, maybe 70% football fan, and then, down from there, 60% or so a Major League Baseball fan. In fact, I don't even know. I think the Major League Baseball playoffs are starting soon, or have they started? Mr. Producer, do you know? No? You're not a baseball fan? All right. Well, maybe somebody can comment or email me at wycethoughts@purplepitstudios.com if the baseball playoffs have started. But we're going to take a quick break. I'm going to warm up my coffee, and we're going to be right back on Wyce Thoughts right after this.
Wearing his sunglasses indoors just because he wants to. Let's get back to the program. Here's your host, Terry Wyce.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Wyce Thoughts. I'm Terry Wyce. Mr. Producer, on the screen here, I lost one of the locations. I don't know. You take a look at that. So fall is in full swing here. We've been talking about sports starting up in the fall, football, and the National Hockey League here in the United States. And at the beginning of the program, we were talking about the Farmer's Almanac and can animals predict the weather. Went over that, and that was rather interesting. I haven't gotten my yard work done to prepare for winter yet. Usually me and the missus go out there and we start getting the yard, Chateau de Wyce, ready for winter. You got to, take down the summer lawn ornaments and things like that and the summer solar lights and put those away and all that kind of good stuff, which is always righteous fun to do something like that. But, we live in the part of the country where we can get pretty harsh winters. And you got to prepare for things like that. You got to. Speaking of winters, those of us here in the U.S., especially in the northeastern section, folks, have you looked at your, if you use natural gas for cooking or heating or anything like that, have you looked at your gas bill lately? Holy moly guacamole. Ours has just shot up through the roof. I mean, I try not to get political and wax on that while we have this program, but folks, the United States is hurting. We're hurting puppies right now with this recession. We are in a recession, by the way, just so you know. I mean, let's just cast all aspersions aside and tell it like it is. We are in a recession. And the unfortunate thing about it is there's many people out there denying that we are, and claiming, "Oh no, we're not in a recession." Yeah, we are. Have you looked at prices of stuff lately? Food bills have been going up for months and months. Gas when I talk about gas, I'm talking about fuel for your cars and things like that, skyrocketing. Fuel costs skyrocketing. Your rents, the housing market, mortgage rates have shot up now over 6%. So the mortgage rates are up over 6%, which is like a huge increase. When me and the wife got our home, we paid somewhere around 1.3% or something crazy like that, or 1.5, because they were practically giving money away. So at that time, we had decided to take advantage of that. But folks, we are in a recession. There's just no doubt about it. There's no denying it. What are you doing out there to survive? I mean, are you working extra hours at work to try and pay the bills? Are you, are you cutting back on things that you didn't think you'd have to cut back on before? I mean, what are you actually doing to try and to save yourself some money? Because we're in it together. We are in it together at this time, and like I said, it's something that looks like it's going to be here for a little while, unfortunately. And I know we're more aware when we're going shopping. Not that we weren't before, but now we are just painfully aware of what's going on, and how we're spending our dollars and such. And it just amazes me how much things have increased. And the Fed's trying to do their best. The Fed's trying to acclimate and raise interest rates and raise the percentage points and all that kind of stuff, all that economic stuff that I never studied nor had a mind to. But, we're all doing our best. I guess, if you can, if you have the ways and the means, maybe help out those that are less fortunate. I mean, especially, not just especially around the holidays. I was about to say especially around the holidays, but all throughout the year, if you have a local charity, a local church, a local organization that you give to, excuse me, try and help them out. Not just, around the holiday time when you see the commercials or you get the flyers in the mail, and, try to help those out in need if you have the ways and the means to do so, because, we got to help each other. We can't depend on the government. We can't depend on someone else. What's that old expression? It takes a village, to do things or to help your neighbor. I'm not exactly sure what that phrase is, but we can all come together and help each other. And that's what I feel that we honestly need to do, especially in these times. I mean, it's a recession. They can do all the gaslighting they want in Washington, D.C., but this country's hurting. And the sad thing about it is I look at states that didn't shut down, such as Florida, most of the South, Texas, and things of that nature. And if I may be so bold, most of the Republican-run conservative states that really didn't shut down that much at all during the now almost going on 3 years gone pandemic, they're doing a heck of a lot better than all these states that shut down. And also the countries that didn't shut down. One that pops into my head is Sweden. Sweden never shut down, never masked their people, never mandated vaccinations and all that. They didn't really take if I'm not mistaken, a totalitarian point of view when the pandemic was going around the world. And they're doing great. Their kids are educated. Their kids never missed a beat in school. Where here in the United States, where we had to shut down everything because of the big bad bug, the boogie bug, our kids are, in most cases and in most states, a year to a year and a half behind in their educational development. And, that can be very frustrating, and that can be very off-putting and hurt their mental health. We have a mental health crisis as well, which a lot of people said was going to happen. But the powers that be didn't want to listen because they were on power trips, enforcing the experimental juice they wanted everyone to take into their arm and everything, which I never did. I've said that before in past programs. Hey, and if you got the juice, if you got the pandemic juice, then hey, more power to you. That's a personal decision. It always should have been, in my opinion, been left up to a personal decision to us all, not you got to, or you can't have a job, or you got to, or you can't, go anywhere, or you got to, or else. It should have always been like all health choices in this country been left to a personal decision. And unfortunately, it was not. But now we see the results of it. The other thing, too, as far as the pandemic goes, while we're on this subject, they're just now beginning to find out all the fraud with all that money, the trillions of dollars that was thrown out. They just caught these 10 scumbags in Minnesota, almost $250,000 that these 10 or so scumbags on a charity food scheme that was supposed to help feed children during the pandemic, that these 10 scumbags people, I think it's at least 10. And, here's a shocker. Middle Eastern descent, fraud scheme that they were doing where they were making up children's names and collecting money from the government, pandemic benefits, emergency benefits. Well, they caught these scumbags, and I hope that if they are convicted, let me say this first, as long as they go through a fair trial, and if they are found guilty, they should be sentenced to prison, at least 10 years, and recover that money. Because, you took away from children, and you liberals out there, you should be supporting this too as well, because you're always for the children. But the unemployment fraud, found out prisoners were claiming benefits and then buying property and using the money they got, the benefits from the pandemic aid to bribe guards and everything else. This is just the tip of the iceberg. I think we're going to find as the decade rolls along here, of the hundreds and millions, if not billions of dollars, that isn't allocated for, unemployment benefits being paid to dead people, that people were, siphoning checks off of that during the pandemic. It's all the money that was wasted. And speaking of money wasted, there's a rumor going around now that I read that Congress wants to approve $12 more billion for the Ukraine war against Russia. Folks, am I just a clown here? But we got people in our country that can't afford to pay their rent, can't afford to pay their utility bills, can't afford to get fucking food. They're putting food on credit cards, and we're sending $12 billion, that's billion with a B, $12 billion overseas. Now, I'm not saying that Russia doesn't need to be stopped, and they're a bully, the new bully again here in the new millennium. However, $12 billion, really? To a country that honestly didn't really give two fucks about us to begin with. I'm not saying we should let these people suffer, however, but I'm just saying, Grandma and Grandpa and Papa and Mama always said, you mind your own yard before you worry about anybody else's yard. We got a lot of suffering and need in this country, and we're sending all this money. Why can't we funnel half of that money into this country for programs for food, housing assistance, education, mental health assistance, health insurance for those that need it, of all nationalities, races, and creeds, and economic needs? Makes sense, doesn't it? Kind of makes some sense, doesn't it? I don't know. Maybe I'm just a dummy. I don't know. Probably am. I don't know. Yeah, it just feels like it feels like a constant punch in the face that all this is happening, and we're just kind of like taking it on the chin. Oh Lord, I don't know, but we shall see what we shall see, I suppose. Anyhow, hey, thanks for spending some of your valuable time with me today here on Wyce Thoughts. I do appreciate each and every one of you that listen to the program. And if you have any comments or questions on today's show, or any show for that matter, just reach out to me, wycethoughts@purplepitstudios.com. You can email me there, wycethoughts@purplepitstudios.com. Remember to check out more shows at purplepitstudios.com. Look for Wyce Thoughts, and while you're there, check out some of the other programs we offer here at Purple Pit Studios. Like I always tell you, friends, at the end of every episode, to be the change in the world that you want to see, you have to be that change in the world. It all starts with you, the person looking back at you in the mirror. Be good to yourself, be good to others, and until next time, I look forward to meeting again with you real soon. Take care.